Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. Alright, so now we talk about the chat. Okay?
Okay. Can you see me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. I cannot see you,
Mm.
but
I don't have the camera, but I just have the audios
okay,
call. So,
okay.
Tom, can you tell me something about yourself? Can you introduce yourself first? Can you?
Yes. Let's see. Can you can you still hear me fine?
Mm-hmm. So now, can you tell me something about yourself? Can you introduce
Okay.
yourself?
Um. Yeah. I I moved to Vietnam in 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Prior to that, I lived in Thailand for about 11 and a half years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that whole time I have been an English teacher. Um, I have taught every grade, a little bit of kindergarten, not much. I have about a total of maybe 50 hours of teaching kindergarten, and the rest is every other grade, all grades, primary, secondary, up through. There's something called commercial college, so that's basically up to about 21 years old. I've tutored, like in the evenings
Mm-hmm.
and like weekends, for probably a little bit over maybe 1,200 hours. Uh,
Ah.
most of that most of that at learning centers. Probably the plurality has been like older primary students, like 10, 12 years old,
Mm-hmm.
mostly in classes of maybe five or 10 students at a time. But I've tutored all grades, one-on-one, like in a cafe, for example, mostly learning centers. Uh, um, about almost all of what I've done is English. My second year of teaching, I taught geography, health, PE in an English program. But the remainder has just been English, probably split evenly between conversation and grammar. Um, I've taught, like, say, teenagers who were low level. In other words, older students, but very like low level. We had to do the basics, and I've taught, say, children who were like upper level, like at a bilingual school or an English program. So even though they were young, they were already like relatively advanced. So I say that to say that I've taught all grades, but sometimes not necessarily at the level
Mm-hmm.
that it suggests.
How long have you been teaching so far? How long have you been teaching so far?
11 years.
11 years. And so you said that you have taught just Thailand. How long have you been teaching in Thailand?
A total of 11 years. All my teaching was Thailand.
All right. And why do you want to work in Vietnam?
Uh, Several reasons. I guess the main reason is money.
Mm-hmm.
I make, yeah, after 12 years in Thailand, I mean, I kind of knew this early on, but the floor and the ceiling aren't much different there. I guess things are starting to change a little bit, honestly, a little bit. But basically, last year, well, in general, the money that I started with 12 years ago was about the same as the money I was making last year.
Oh.
Um, and I don't consider myself greedy. If I was greedy, I would have left Thailand years ago for better money. But I was happy there. So like my friends were there. I kind of had a home there, and I still do. But I decided the time was right uh, to make a move. So I actively searched for work on the internet while living in Thailand. And after about 2.5 weeks of emailing and Skype interview with an entity, I got a job in, I forget the city's name, but the province's name is Dong Thap.
Ah.
Dong Thap.
Dong Thap.
West of Ho Chi Minh City.
Mekong Delta. Mekong Delta.
Yeah. Yes, yes. And so I moved. I landed here exactly 2 months ago. And ultimately, the school didn't show up to pick me up at the airport. So the agency came and got me. And the agency said, we don't know what happened. We will put you in a hotel here in Ho Chi Minh City tonight. You will have an interview with us tomorrow. And in that interview the next day, they learned that I did not have my original degree with me. It's back home in the United States, where it's always been. And they said, you need to have your original degree to show Vietnam. And they said, well, I don't have it. And they said, sorry, we cannot hire you. Goodbye. And ultimately, here I am. Now, I do have my degree. I eventually had to get it Federal Expressed from my mom, who I really, really did not want to bother. But I found out that you pretty much need your original degree here in Vietnam. So now I have it in my hands.
All right. So sorry, can you give me 3 seconds? I do something. I run some errand. Okay, only 3 seconds. Just wait for me a minute.
Okay.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello.
Mhm. Okay, so continue.
Um,
Yes. So you said that you have taught in Đồng Tháp 2 months. Okay. So is it an English center or the public school
uh, in Thailand or Vietnam?
in Vietnam in Đồng Tháp in Mekong Delta?
Oh. It was a school. It was a. I'm not quite sure of the relationship between the school and the agency, but the school was. Again, I'm sorry, I forget the name of the city, but in Dong Tap, the school was George Washington International School. So I went to teach at an international school.
Also, the name of the school is Washington.
Yeah, like George Washington International School. I think they had at least two, maybe three campuses, because I remember they would switch which school I was to be in. They switched me like twice. The other, I forget the name of the city. It was also in the Delta.
Yeah. Uh,
I think the
so
school
in
has
Đồng
two
Tháp,
campuses.
we have some famous city like bên Cao Lãnh, Cao Lãnh,
It might have been that.
or Sa
Possibly.
Đéc, Sa Đéc. No,
Uh,
no,
wow. I want to say it was like two words, but most that's kind of common. Like maybe like the first word was like four letters, and the second word four also.
okay.
But I would have to go search through my files to see the name of the city.
Mm-hmm.
But the province was definitely Dong Tap, and the school also had another campus, which was in the Delta, but more like southwest of Ho Chi Minh City,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the city in Dong Tap was more west, like closer to Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Are you teaching right now? Are you teaching right now?
No. I got lots of interviews in late December,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling everybody, well, I don't have my original degree, and then it became very apparent, not that I need to work in the big city, like the same as Thailand. It seems like in Vietnam, it's very important to follow the law uh, in the big city, but it's not so important to follow the law in the country. uh, but most of the places I was applying for was in the big city, like Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, maybe Haiphong, and it seems like they were requiring me to get my original degree.
So you have original degree now?
Now I have it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finally got it, it was January, and then the interviews started slowing down.
Because
So I was.
So
Tet.
yes, it's state holiday,
Yeah.
and the people go to holiday and they have a less student, so they don't want to offer the new class for you.
Right.
And so, do you familiar with working in the countryside or the small town?
Yes. I worked in a small town for once in Thailand for one semester. I did that, like a very small town, like I don't know, maybe 10,000, maybe 5,000 people in Thailand. Um, Most of the rest of the time, I've worked in a city, not Bangkok. I have never lived in Bangkok. But in the third biggest city in Thailand, which isn't that big. It's like maybe 300,000 people near Malaysia,
Mm-hmm.
a city called Hat Yai.
Mm.
So I guess like I was happy to be like in a medium-sized city,
Mhm. So,
uh, but I'm happy. I'm flexible.
mhm. So, you have experience with a small class, like maybe 5 to 10 students, but sometimes we had a big class, like uh, at least 20 to 30 students. So, how can you handle this problem?
No problem. And when I mentioned 5 or 10 students, that was like when I would tutor in a learning center,
Mhm.
like in the late afternoon, evening, or the weekends. But my normal job has been as a teacher in a school.
Mhm.
So usually the classes are about uh, 30, 35 students. So most of my teaching experience has been in a classroom of 30 to 35. Only in the learning centers, like when I tutor for extra money, that was more like 5 or 10 students. So I'm very used to teaching. I've taught 50 students before.
Mhm. And um, can you tell me um, can you tell me um, what is your expected job like salary, accommodation, and some help from the school?
When I was in Thailand
Mm-hmm.
and I got my job with that school in Dong Tap,
Mm-hmm.
the salary was $1,900 plus free accommodation.
Um,
Um,
sorry, $1,900 per month.
Correct,
Mm-hmm.
plus free accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, that's not that is on the higher end. Since then, I haven't really found too many jobs like that. Honestly, the jobs that I have found have requirements that I do not meet. Like, for example, a CELTA degree, or that I've lived in Vietnam, taught in Vietnam for longer. I haven't taught in Vietnam. um, or maybe I have like a bachelor's degree in a certain area.
Mm-hmm.
My bachelor's degree is in business.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I have a job offer. Well, two, but one that I'm seriously considering taking. In fact, I told them we both agreed to everything last week. Yes, they said. Yes, I said. And then on Saturday morning, they moved the start date. Uh, they moved it another week more,
Why?
and because the woman said the owner of their learning center, I was to teach specifically at a learning center. Um, he or she, I don't know, a fortune teller, and the fortune teller gave
Huh?
a another date, like where you go to talk to somebody who knows about your
But
future,
yes, I know that
like
the fortune
like
teller. Oh, why?
yeah. So yeah, and I said, well, why would we agree to everything and then you go to a fortune teller? Or maybe you already did go to a fortune teller, but you didn't tell me about that date. And I said, okay, look, I am going to look for other jobs. Uh, uh, um, right now, them and I, they're still learning things. Like last night, they said, oh, you have to in order for us to give you an invitation, you must leave the country. And so I was like, Do you mean that you mail me the invitation while I'm in a different country? Or do I have to go out of the country and then come back and then you email me the invitation? And so she's confused, and this is literally last night. So I'm still looking for more information from them. Everything seems good, but I don't think they're particularly, I mean, the job itself, but they don't seem too organized. Um, they part of the reason I'm interested in the job is because it's just one place. It's not like I have to get on a motorbike or a bus and go from one side of a city to another side from the morning to the afternoon. And they're very nice. That job was for the first 2 months, $1,200, and then the rest of the way, well, minimum would be $1,500, starting in, I guess, April. And so that job would be $1,500. I have to pay my own accommodations, and I would get 1 month holiday, 1 month vacation, and they pay me that month. So in general, I guess my salary is what I'm looking for is about $1,500
per month. Yeah. So
it depends. If it's
you
the big city, I want more money. If it's like the country, then I'll probably have to take less money.
All right. So how about your teaching hour? Can you handle maybe 100 to 120 teaching hour per month? I mean, maybe 25 to 30 teaching hour per week.
In Thailand, well, it's changing. It used to be more like 15 to 18 hours. Now it's more like 18 to 22 hours. So that's a lot. So I'm used to like maybe like 80 hours a week, or I'm sorry,
80 hours per month.
20 hours. Yeah, 80 hours a month. However, I am also used to tutoring on the average about 10 hours a week. So normally I'm used to teaching about teaching and tutoring, like extra money, about a total of 25 to 30 hours a week. So I'm used to that when you combine tutoring. In Vietnam, they maybe that's part of the reason there's more money is because there are more hours. So between teaching and tutoring, I am used to doing 25 hours a week, maybe 30 hours a week. Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to move to the north of Vietnam?
Excuse me. Yes, I can. I really I have no preference. Honestly, I taught for 1 month in Vietnam. I didn't put it on my resume, on my CV, because it was only 1 month. In late November, I moved. Late November of 2015. So about
2 years
14,
ago.
15 months.
2 years ago.
Yeah, right. I moved to Vietnam and then very quickly got a job. Like, I moved here like on a Wednesday night, and on Friday I had 2 interviews. And I accepted the first interview. And 2 days later, we moved in Hanoi. We drove to which is near China. And I taught there for 1 month at 2 different schools. The schools were both fine. The city was okay, but the company, the agency was bad. My coworker and I left. we told them that the school director on New Year's Eve, I mean, not the school director, but like
Agent.
the school district
Uh-huh.
director, she offered us positions that would start like January 10 or so. And we said thank you, but basically we meant no thank you because we did not want to work for our company. Like, no way. And so on New Year's Day, we returned to Hanoi. I had 2 weeks left on my visa, but it's difficult, as you know, to get a job in January. So my visa, I got one job, but they couldn't really pay me until February 28th, because I couldn't really do much work until February. So I said, no, thank you. I can't wait that long for a paycheck, or I don't want to. So my visa expired and I returned to Thailand. But I did spend 1 month in Lan Son. I'm probably mispronouncing that. In the north of
Lạng Sơn. Lạng Sơn.
Like Sun. Yes. Thank you. Like Sun.
Okay, so I will schedule an interview with you in a school in the north of Vietnam, and they will give you some information. But actually, you will guess your requirements like the salary and accommodation and visa. Okay, and it will the better salary, not the offer I gave you. And maybe everything's okay. You can start teaching next week. I will schedule for you tomorrow. Is that okay? Maybe.
Yes. And as I mentioned, or I think I did, that the one school or the learning center that I said yes to, and then they changed. They talked to the fortune teller and they changed the date. I told that school, and I want to.
So do you want to work with this school or not? Just give me your ideas.
Well, I told them on Friday the 17th, I will give them my decision.
Mm-hmm. So maybe tomorrow I will schedule an interview for you in the morning or in the afternoon. So what time are you free?
As of now, I am free all day tomorrow. Right. So morning or afternoon is okay.
So I guess your phone number. So I will call you when I confirm the time for interview tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, and I hope that you will got the job with me.
Okay, Tony. Well, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you still interviewing me.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I said no thank you to the original job in the email, but I'm grateful to have the opportunity
because you know that I want to get to know your characteristics and how to react when you interview with me, and I will maybe upraise your salary if you want to. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Good day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.